Here we go. Welcome, Average Joe Nation from around the globe. Props to you for staying up to date and keeping in the know. With fantasy football, man, very soon you'll reign. The knowledge that these three guys have, man, it is insane. Yeah, fantasy football suck, hateful eight, they wear the crown. Hold it down. Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli, hold it down. Pulling up to the recording studio, we're getting loud. Getting ready, headphones on, red light, go, break it down.
Welcome back to the Hateful Eight Fantasy Football Podcast with your host, I'm Pickle, and with me as always, Blackbird.
What up?
And Trimboli as well.
What's going on?
Big show topic today. We got a fantasy stock watch, quarterback edition, so some quarterbacks that are maybe going a little too high in mock drafts right now, ADP, and maybe people need to... Who was the wrestler that said slow your roll?
It's The Rock.
The Rock. There you go. See, I figured throw out a wrestling thing.
All you jabronis out there.
Oh man.
Man,
so
now I'm hungry because I'm thinking about smell what the Rock is cooking. Little people's elbow. Let's get this going.
Oh man. Anyways, so as you can tell, the train's already off the rails. We have just started. But yeah, so quarterbacks this week. So as you can tell when you do your mock drafts, there's always one guy that drafts a quarterback way early. There's guys that draft quarterbacks in the middle of the round. There's guys that draft quarterbacks at the end of the draft, or sometimes you forget to draft a quarterback, depending on your
I do not recommend that.
No, in tuned with your draft. Anyways, so we're going to discuss some guys that you're going to look at that maybe you need to push back a couple rounds and wait on, or guys that maybe you can kind of sneak up a round or two earlier, or that we're comfortable that this is where their ADP is. So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us on YouTube to watch, as well as on DATV for the local Dayton viewers. 10:30 on Friday. 10:30 p.m.
P.
5 p. 10:30 p.m. Fridays or 4 p.m. Sundays. I can't. I'm not
You're
gonna be able to, I'm gonna have to look at you today because when I'm looking over at Trimboli,
You don't want to do that.
No, I probably
Look
don't.
deep into his eyes.
Look right into his soul. Anyways, but you can find us as well on any of the podcast platforms that you guys may listen to us on. Thank you for joining us. If it's the first time, we apologize for the flabbergast host. Ish me.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
No.
it's going to be a lot more of this.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. This show's already kicking off well. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into fantasy news and notes.
Fantasy news and notes.
All right, fantasy news and notes presented by Sleeper. If you're wanting to stay up to date on anything fantasy news related, this is the app to have. They also have the website. So if you're not able to, I guess, download it for your mobile device for whatever reason, or if you're at home, you just want to open up your laptop, you can do that as well. But if you're on the go, like we are a lot of times, mobile app is the perfect spot for you guys. iOS, Android. You can keep up to date on fantasy news as well as mock draft. You can port your leagues over to there as well. And for like forum purposes, if you guys have questions and you're always like, hey, quick question, I need to know what would you guys do with this guy or this trade? Put it on the forum. They have specific groups that people will answer questions, and it might not be a fantasy football analyst answering it for you, but it would be the general public would answer for you, and maybe somebody's like, you know what, I was just thinking about this the other day. This is what I ended up doing with the trade. So, I mean, if you can't get a hold of a fantasy football analyst via social media quickly enough, these people, there's so many people that, like, as soon as you post it within 3 seconds, somebody's already responding back. This is what I would do. So
Yeah.
that's the cool thing about
Those
this.
are fun to read, too.
Yeah. And you can always find our channel on there, and we
Right.
drop our articles and our podcasts on it. So
Right. I always appreciate. There's always one guy that you're waiting for him to respond with some sarcastic comment that has nothing to do. It could be a question about a quarterback, and he's like, well, if his left tackle would block more often, you're like, okay, but I need to know, should I trade for this guy? I don't want to know about his left tackle.
Right.
That his left tackle had McDonald's today at lunch. I don't need to know that. So, anyways,
Macho Taco is good for that.
that is true. I appreciate his random topic replies. So we'll just hit on a couple key points for the general news. First one, Amari Cooper sets sights on 2,000-yard season. Don't believe that, but it's great to have goals. We all have goals in life, right?
Yep.
No.
I'm high on Amari Cooper this year.
I mean, I like Amari Cooper.
I don't know about
2,000
I don't know
yards.
about 2,000 yards,
But I do appreciate the fact that he's saying all the right things for contract purposes. He said, I want to be in Dallas. I want to make sure that my quarterback gets paid. I'll get paid when it's my time. And he never has said that I want to be the highest paid wide receiver. Obviously, what guy's not going to want to, but he doesn't seem like he's one of those guys where he's pushing to be the number one or nothing else.
Well, look, I think he already knows that he's about to get paid.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he eclipses his 2,000 yards or reaches it, then
Michael
he's
Thomas,
gonna
scoot
ask for
over.
that big
Michael
money,
Thomas, scoot
so.
over, buddy.
Slide to the right. All right, now this one, Michel is Sony Michel is progressing nicely following an off-season arthroscopic procedure to his knee. They cleaned it out. They're showing that he is getting back into the groove of running, doing drills, things like that. So, are we still concerned, or are we good with Sony Michel and James White? We know what their roles are. No worries.
I think we know what their roles are, but they brought in a rookie from Alabama.
Damian Harris to potentially spell Burkhead, maybe. I don't know.
Who knows what's going on? They got four good running backs right there.
it's still early. At this
Right.
point, I'm still fine.
Right. Yeah, I'm still fine with them too. Now,
Okay.
when we get to preseason, like we always talk about, that third game, and there's still issues, that's when we need to start to worry.
Right.
Well, you could even see them maybe taking a slow approach with Sony Michel
Sure.
coming out of the
Absolutely.
gate, just a little slower than
Which they did
normal.
last year.
Right, exactly.
And it worked because coming down the fantasy stretch and playoffs for fantasy purposes, he was destroying. I mean, for fantasy running back purposes, he was in and week out. He was lighting up the scoreboards for people. So, now Marvin Jones with a knee missed the Lions' entire offseason program. Says that he should be good to go when official training camp starts. He was doing some bike work and stretches and things like that, but nothing like contact or any like actual route running drills of any kind during this offseason program. To me, it doesn't really matter because Kenny Galladay is the guy to have out of this offense. Now, I'm not saying don't get Marvin Jones.
Yeah, his ADP is late too.
Right.
Right.
But I'm saying that if you're wanting the main guy in this passing offense, it is Kenny Galladay.
Absolutely.
If you want a discount, maybe Galladay gets hurt. We'd never wish all that, but if something were to happen, he gets hurt, or for whatever reason the coverage is really dictated towards Galladay, and you see Marvin Jones is running free a lot, he might be somebody worth taking it later in the draft as well.
Well, I like Marvin Jones late because Golden Tate's gone now, so he's going to see an uptick in receptions as well.
And Stafford's going to throw the ball all over.
They're
going
to have to.
Right. And Kenny, actually, for the Kenny Galladay
but they're
fan-
running the ball. They're a running first team.
Well,
Yeah, but
According
when
to all reports, they're a run first
But when
team.
you're down by 2 and 3 touchdowns,
That's exactly.
you're not going to be running the ball.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we try to explain to people. They're like, but they're going to be a running team. Yeah, well, you can run the ball, but if you're down 3 touchdowns, running the ball really doesn't help you when
Yeah,
you're
you're
losing.
hurting yourself. So.
So
What's funny is we can still have this conversation and joke about garbage time, and I still think Kerryon Johnson's going to be a factor this year.
yeah, most definitely.
Now, it could be all garbage time, but
Garbage time is fantasy points.
Yeah, in fantasy, garbage time
Yes.
is relevant.
yes.
That's what people are always like, oh, well, he only had 3 points going in the fourth quarter, but then he ended up with 20. Well, because their team was sucking and they were awful and they had to throw the ball 50 times to get at least make it a relevant game.
Right.
But
We appreciate that.
we appreciate those people who are your opponent who think that they've got the game won. Not so much. Last 2 minutes of a game and you're within 5 points, it could really swing either way.
And those games are nerve-wracking to watch.
Especially when you have, we like it for Monday night purposes, but when you finish, your games are done by Sunday, not always most fun to go into Monday night
Knowing your
close.
opponent has that's
Even
the
if
worst.
it's a kicker,
Dude,
it just happens.
The worst feeling is when your games are done Monday in the early games, and you're completely done for the week because you had a Thursday player, let's say, and then
I hate
all-
Thursday night players.
Oh.
Despise it.
I'm not a big fan of Thursday night players unless it's like a stud.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
yeah,
my
but-
biggest thing. Defenses I don't mind playing. Kickers I don't mind playing because they seem to be the ones that score the most fantasy points for Thursday nights for whatever reason. I'm guessing for short week purposes for preparing, but
Yeah, you're taking guys out of their rhythm.
right. Michael Thomas, as we said last week, reportedly now there's a number set to it, seeking $22 million per season in his contract talks with the Saints. We talked about
and
last
they said
week.
they're far apart right now on the deal.
Yeah, they'll get there eventually. It may not be $22 million, but it'll be up in that region. I'm sure, close enough.
He's going to get paid.
Yes. So, and then SiriusXM NFL Radio, Tariq Cohen was on the other day and said that he doesn't expect his role in the Bears offense to change this season.
So basically, they switched out Jordan Howard for
Montgomery or Mike Davis, depending on who comes out of that backfield, right?
I like Tariq Cohen in PPR.
Yes,
Right.
I like Tariq Cohen. If I just have this feeling that David Montgomery is going to be the one that jumps Mike Davis. I think he's going to be filling nicely to the Jordan Howard role, and he's going to be drafted way back farther than what Jordan Howard's been drafted the last couple of years. Jordan Howard's been drafted the last 2 years had been drafted as a
Second
second round,
yeah.
third round running back, and you're getting Montgomery farther back.
Well,
in
remember
that.
last year, all offseason, we were all high on Jordan Howard. They were like,
Yeah.
oh, he's going to be a 3-down back. He's going to carry the load. And no.
He just couldn't catch the ball. That's his issue. Because he got a ton of carries.
He pass blocked well. He ran the ball well. It just, the pass catching element was not good. And the thing that they did not like was the fact of when you brought Tariq Cohen in, you knew kind of the game plan of what was coming in as a defense. You knew what offensively they were probably going to do. Same thing when they brought in Jordan Howard. You knew that more likely not going to be a receiving threat at this point. So
Plus, the same's going to apply for whoever this next running back is. So.
right. David Montgomery, I think they're hoping drafting him that he's going to be what they wanted Jordan Howard, not to be a full-time receiving running back, but can do enough
both. Yeah.
to not give away the defense what they're going to be doing. So, and then the final thing, Falcons coach Dan Quinn says Devonta Freeman looks like himself this offseason, which is great for fantasy purposes.
Yeah, you don't want him to look like the cheerleader.
Yeah,
no,
true story.
like
This is
Freeman.
true.
Got weak glutes.
Right. This is true. He's at least healthy, it sounds like, which is all great and everything for fantasy purposes. We just got to hope that he lasts for the 16 games that you need him
Well,
to.
if you draft him, his ADP is late second round, early third round right now.
Yeah.
You better get Ito Smith later on.
This is true because I think we've talked about this, that with Tevin Coleman leaving, they're going to run Devonta Freeman into the ground. They've paid him that way. Right. And if he gets hurt, it's Ito Smith's job. And Ito Smith may not be as good as Devonta Freeman, but it's volume and opportunity is there.
And he can catch too.
Right. So
He's one I'd take a flyer on. I mean, especially at his ADP right now.
Third round?
Yeah, I know he's coming off being hurt, but his reward if he, if
Sure.
he's healthy all year, it's up there. His ceiling.
I'll spend a third round on him.
Absolutely.
on a top 12 potential running
Yeah.
back, perfect.
But the risk concern with the injury is going to shade some people or fade them on him. So
I mean, they may be the same people that are faded on these other running backs, but I'd rather take Devonta Freeman in the third than I would Derrick Henry. Say Derrick Henry's going around that third, fourth round, and I would gladly take Devonta Freeman in every one of my drafts over that. So
I'll take Freeman over Geis. I love Geis.
I agree too.
Freeman just seems like out of all the ones, his ADP is perfect for a guy coming off an injury.
Absolutely.
To me, at least.
It's dropping.
Right. So
And it's not rising as we're going along, as I've seen some other players.
right, and he's going back into an offense that he was successful in when they had the previous Dirk Cutter as the offensive coordinator years ago. So why not? All right, let's go ahead and get into the main segment of today, Fantasy Stock Watch Quarterbacks Edition.
This is Fantasy Stock Watch.
All right, Fantasy Stock Watch Quarterbacks Edition, presented by Trophy Smack, the one-stop shop for anything fantasy football related when it comes to trophies, belts, rings, and now draft boards as well. You can pretty much wrap up your whole fantasy league in Trophy Smack
Those
stuff.
draft boards look legit too.
Yeah.
Those are legit, and I mean they're an affordable price of $39. To me, that is perfect.
That's pretty good.
For the quality that you're going to get. Plus, they give you the marker, the open stickers as well, so you can write in whoever you need to write in potentially. To me, I just think that's a big thing. You got the trophies, the belts, the rings, and now the draft board. I feel like that's pretty much encompasses all of your fantasy football league
It's the whole package.
stuff.
Yep. Get it all in one place.
Until Trophy Smack comes out with some sort of fantasy football platform to play on, that's pretty much the only thing I feel like they're lacking at this point.
Absolutely.
So
we still need to get a belt.
we do. I've seen them posted them, and we'll have to get one for our league as well. So now if you head over to our website, you can click on the trophies, rings, belts tab on the website, and it'll take you right to Trophy Smack's website. So, all right, fantasy stock quarterbacks. Who I say we just go with the two highs first. So we'll go left to right. Blackburn, you can go first with the
Okay.
who is your two high?
My too high. This might make some people mad.
Ooh, I like this though.
It's Baker Mayfield.
Ooh,
Okay, look, I get it. He had a great year. He played 14 games
Yes.
or whatnot, but he still finished QB 17. Okay?
Yes.
So they add OBJ. That's going to jump him to QB 5. No, it's not. Okay. His ADP 6'4", which is okay, but let's just back up the bread box for a second, okay, and slow this hype down on this Browns team. So right now they're saying he's going to finish higher than Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, or Jared Goff. You think that's possible?
I think it's possible, but to me, the biggest thing when I look at ADP for Baker Mayfield is I agree. Baker Mayfield's ADP is too high, but the problem is the hype is real, and people are skyrocketing to the Baker Mayfield experience. They're just like, strap on, let's go, and we are taking off. It's lift off. The hype's going, and I just think that To me, I take Baker Mayfield. I don't have a problem drafting him as the 5th or 6th quarterback overall in a draft.
I do.
But I have a problem with drafting him in that 5th, 6th round because to me he is not in the same class as a Patrick Mahomes who's going right around the 3rd, 4th round. Aaron Rodgers going right around that 4th, 5th round.
Deshaun Watson.
All those.
Luck.
Right. Those guys I have no problem drafting at their ADP.
Those are the 4 guys going right before him.
To me, I think Baker Mayfield should be somewhere in that 8th to 9th round, and I comfortably. It's not so much where I think he's going to finish as much as I think where the ADP for him is too high.
Well, last year Jared Goff finished QB 7.
Okay.
Right now he's the QB 12.
Right.
And Baker Mayfield's QB 5.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. When the news came out with all the trades and everything, I was drinking the Baker Mayfield Kool-Aid. But I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of agree with what Blackburn's saying here. And once you get past those 4 guys, after that, I can see Baker go as high as 5. But he could also drop right outside the top 10. So I don't know if I'm going to reach for him at that
Right.
ADP right
Right.
now. So
And
for me, they're all about the
and
same.
everybody is right now. And OBJ seems to be the icing on the cake.
Right.
Eli Manning had OBJ for years, 4 or
Right.
5 years. And last year Manning was ranked right around where Baker Mayfield was in that 17 to 19 range.
Right. I just think that for me, I think Baker Mayfield has upside of a top 7 quarterback potential, but I'm not drafting him there. To me, he is not proven enough to be drafted in that echelon of the Luck, the Watson, the Rodgers, or Mahomes. Those guys, I think, have cemented that they deserve that top 4, top 5 quarterback drafted. Baker, not so much.
And everybody's counting him out, but Matt Ryan, he
Yeah.
finished number 2 last year.
I like Matt Ryan, and I will gladly let him fall to his ADP and just
His
snatch him up.
ADP is worse. It's like 9th round.
So,
I think, but you know my feeling on quarterbacks. You can wait and get these guys.
right. So that's what I was gonna say. When we talked about the preemptive, guys take them early, guys take them in the middle of the draft, take them at the end of the draft. You are more likely to take. You have shown that you don't mind drafting quarterbacks earlier than most do.
If
Right.
it's one of those top tier guys.
Right.
If those top tier guys are gone, and I'm at the 3rd or 4th round, usually is when I like to do it, the 3rd
Right.
or 4th round. If those guys are gone, I'll wait, and you can get all those guys, like you said, that are grouped in that 2nd tier
Right.
later on.
Which I tend to draft guys more so in that 8 to 10 range, and that's my comfort level of the earliest I will draft quarterbacks. Now, if I get a guy like a Patrick Mahomes or a Rodgers, Luck, somebody falls to that 7th round, I don't
Yeah,
mind.
good luck with that.
Right. So I'm saying I don't like
Right.
going. I don't like reaching up outside the 8th round for a quarterback. Now, you on the other hand, you like to draft the quarterbacks 11, 12, 13th ish.
Yeah, I really like to start at the double-digit rounds.
Right. So that's the difference, and it's worked for all of us. But the thing is, it's got to be your comfort level. You don't want to reach on a quarterback just because of name, and that's why we go back for
Plus,
that.
it depends on your league.
Right.
If your
Right.
quarterback touchdowns are worth more than whatever,
True.
then that,
Right.
or super flex, whatever that helps too.
Right. Your quarterbacks are going to be drafted early and
Here's
often.
here's my hot take for this. Okay, we all know I despise Dak Prescott, right?
Mhm.
I'm not a fan. Okay, but I
We'll get
think
there.
I think this year, Dak Prescott will finish higher at the end of the season than Baker Mayfield.
I mean, I don't. Wow. As a
We'll-
Dallas
we'll get
Cowboys
to- we'll
fan,
get to
I
Dak.
like to hear that.
Dak finished QB 10 last year.
Oh, I know.
And that's that's the thing. He's going to finish there every year. He's a 10 to 12 ranked quarterback.
I'm just saying.
Baker's got
but that's
five
what I'm saying.
potential, I think.
Yeah, he played 14 games last year and was QB 17.
Rookie year.
I don't care.
See. I think that Baker has.
Gotta give him a little slack. on
No,
the
I think
rookie year.
Baker has a higher ceiling to me, but I think that his floor could be lower because if that Browns offense goes down, he is not. To me, he is not the guy that's going to be able to take a bunch of no-name guys and run an offense efficiently, like an Aaron Rodgers, like a Mahomes, like a Deshaun Watson, who can deal with no-name guys. Baker Mayfield ceiling, I say he's top 7, but floor, I say he's like in that 12 to 13 range comfortably, for me at least. He's got a pretty mighty swing either way, depending on what this offense really looks like. On paper, they look great, but we have found paper doesn't always make you great.
It's a true story.
So the field is where you make your greatness, unfortunately, not in the newspaper or on your depth chart. So,
Right.
All right. So for me, too high, Carson Wentz. I
Yeah.
just think that he's coming off of 2 back-to-back years of injuries. Yes, he played double-digit amount of games in both 17 and 18. But the problem is he's being drafted as a quarterback 9 right now. I don't mind. I don't think that he can't be that by the end of the year for fantasy purposes, but you're putting a lot of your eggs in a basket for a quarterback that has not finished a season healthy, and he's got a lot of question marks injury-wise for him. I mean, he's got a back, LCL, ACL now two years in a row, and he's got a bunch of question marks on his offense. Let's be honest. That offense outside of Zach Ertz, you don't know who the true running back's going to be. Yes, it could be Jordan Howard. They're saying it's Jordan Howard, but we saw that Jordan Howard was supposedly the running back in Chicago. They drafted Miles Sanders higher than what most people thought that he would have been drafted. They've got Dallas Goedert, who is kind of playing second fiddle to Zach Ertz. But in the wide receiver ranks, they really don't have a stud, standout wide receiver. And I just feel like he's going to spread the ball. But for me personally, Carson Wentz is a injury risk. And I feel like if you draft him where he's going, which is 903, which is about where I would draft a quarterback, you're going to have to take another quarterback in rounds 13 or 14, I feel like, to make sure.
I think so, too.
For comfort purposes, because 2017 played 13 games, blew out his ACL, MCL against the Rams. He was at that point the quarterback. Quarterback 2 at that point?
Yeah.
And then finished quarterback 6 still, but he had played enough games, had a good enough. Then
he had a great year that year, though.
Then got signed this offseason, 4 years, $128 million contract. He came off of 2018 playing only 10 games, played weeks 33 to 14. He was the quarterback 14. So I'm just saying
it's Jeffrey and Deshaun
Jackson and Aguilar. But I'm just saying I just feel like the offense as a whole for the Eagles has a lot of question marks.
Deshaun Jackson's there, by the way, and they went to go get him.
Right. I'm not sold on. If I'm drafting Carson Wentz, I have to draft a second quarterback.
He's got weapons, and I admit that there's opportunity for him to do well. However, I'm with him that the injury thing is bad, and there's no big backup, so they would be done.
Now, I wouldn't mind drafting him like 11th round because I feel like that's a little bit more. I mean, you're still going to have to draft another quarterback, but I feel like you're getting a better value at him in the 11th round than a 9th round. 9th round, you're still filling out potentially a starter or at least a second tier. Like to me, I'd rather take a questionable running back or question mark on a wide receiver than I would like to take my quarterback, who's supposedly the guy that you're playing. If you're drafting in the 9th round on a quarterback, they're supposed to be your starter every week. They're not a streamable guy. That's my question mark with Carson Wentz.
So you think a quarterback just right outside the double digits is not potentially streamable?
You mean like at the quarterback 9?
In the 9th round?
In the 9th round, I don't think that's a streamable quarterback. I feel like you're still grabbing a quarterback that you're expecting to play except for the bye week.
Listen, I'm gonna grab Wentz at the 9th round. I think his ADP is perfect. He's just a year removed away from throwing 33 touchdowns. That's not what we're getting out of Dak Prescott. We'll see if we get it out of Baker Mayfield. He threw 21 touchdowns last year alone in 11 games, threw 3,000 yards. That's a lot of passing in only 11 games.
My biggest thing.
The health thing is
that's my question mark with him.
So that's why he's going to fade. But for a guy like me who's waiting to the double-digit rounds, I have the potential to get a top 7
you're taking the risk.
I'll take the
right, and that's
risk.
what I'm saying. I don't mind taking him in the 11th round and feeling okay about it. But I'm saying in that 8th, 9th round where his ADP is slowly climbing because of the hype around the offense and Deshaun Jackson and all the bells and whistles that they supposedly have in that offense, I just am concerned. The guy has not finished a season. He's not played more than 13 games in a season.
The two quarterbacks that are going right near him are Big Ben and Drew Brees. I would take both of those over Carson Wentz.
I'd take Brees. That's about it. I'm letting Big Ben fall.
Man,
I like me Wentz. I'm all in. I'm telling you what, they got the 8th rated. I looked them up on Pro Football Focus on the line. 8th rated pass efficiency offensive line right now. I think you're underplaying Sanders' role in this offense. I love that the fact they went out and got Deshaun Jackson. They're looking for a guy to take the ball, take it off the top. I think they're setting him up for a big play. There's no Foles there anymore.
Right, so they need him.
Right.
I mean, they invested the money to make him the guy.
I'll buy into the injury risk. I can totally see that.
That just scares me. I don't know if I could start a fantasy season as that as my QB1.
So you're saying that you have no problem drafting him in the 9th round?
No.
If you're sitting in the 9th round, you would have no problem taking him there?
Not at all.
All right.
And think about all the pieces you filled in before that.
Right. I mean, and I understand that.
I'm normally, for me, I'm a double dip. I double dip right in the quarterback. So if I take him in the 9th or 10th round, I'm coming back with another one because I'm going to plug and play him.
Right.
Depending on the matchup.
Right. I understand.
And if I can get Wentz and still I can plug and play him, or I can wait, he might get hurt, I'm okay with it.
No.
He's just got big play potential, and I just think it's hard to pass on that.
He does. I just think that my biggest concern for him is just the injuries is the red flag. That's the only thing I can hang my hat on for this 9th round ADP.
And that's a valid argument. Really, it is, because it's hard not to look past
But
that.
like I said, I agree with you. I don't have a problem taking him in the 11th round though. I know that sounds weird for people.
No.
Probably like, well, two
No,
rounds. What?
No, because
what?
you can get back up. You can get solid depth at your receiver
you could,
or whatever spot.
right, and you could swing an 11th round and a 12th round quarterback if you had to, or 11th and a 13th round quarterback, because the quarterbacks are going in 13th round. They have some potential. I mean, high upside games where it could be a week by week or streamable, or if Wentz does get hurt, now you've got a quarterback that you can play plug right in, as you said. But
I knew there was going to be a little difference on
No,
the win.
no, I understand. That's what it's
and
for.
I have him ranked inside the top 10. So
Well,
right,
I guarantee
well, I
you-
do too.
I
But
guarantee
I'm
you
also
the listeners out there are the same way. Half
Yeah.
of them are Wentz truthers, and the other ones are like, eh.
I mean, we have him as our top 10 overall based on consensus rankings. It's just the red flag
Where
of
you're
injury.
drafting him, yeah.
Right, that's the biggest thing. I don't mind drafting him as a top 10 quarterback. I just don't like drafting him in the 9th round, where I feel like I could get another running back or wide receiver to back up somebody as an RB3, RB4, or wide receiver 3 or 4. To me, at least. But that's just my personal drafting. So
I got you. No,
you like to roll dice on quarterbacks, so that's fine.
Yeah,
that's
I
the
was gonna say,
difference. I like
I'm
stability
different.
in my quarterback. So.
Yeah, I could. Well, listen, the guy that I think is too low is because I like to roll the dice on.
Right.
So.
All right. So who is your too high?
My too high is Kyler Murray. I mean, they got him
Absolutely.
right now as a wide or a quarterback one, the 12th overall. I just think that's too high for a guy that's coming in unproven, especially with an offense that didn't score a lot of points. They were like second to
And
last in the league.
didn't
I
help
think.
their line. That's trash.
I mean, his ceiling could be a quarterback one if everything hits perfectly and all the stars align. Yes. However,
Yeah.
most times in fantasy football, the stars do not align, and it is what it is.
Listen,
If your line's crap, You're gonna get hit.
You want to take a flyer on him? I have no problem, but he's definitely going to be a plug-and-play guy. He's going to be a
Absolutely.
matchup-based guy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You got to see how he withstands the NFL. I mean, in general, we just talked about injuries. He's a smaller quarterback that's going to be taking a beating because, that's like you just said, the offensive line is terrible.
Now, what was Baker's last? What did you say he finished that last year?
17.
To me, I think that is I think that's I think Kyler Murray's floor. I think he's somewhere in that 14 to 17 range comfortably. Could he creep into the top 12? Yes. Stranger things have happened with quarterbacks. They're just like, that guy finished top 12? Yes. But like I said, everybody's got to be hidden. I mean, I just saw a video the other day, and somebody posted it was a training camp video of Kyler Murray throwing across the middle to Christian Kirk, and I was like, and I was reading the comments, and I didn't really watch the video, and people were like, oh my gosh, that guy's great. That's why they drafted him.
Everybody,
and I looked.
everybody looks great in shorts.
Oh, but I'm just telling you, I watched the video, so then I rewinded it. I looked at it again, rewinded. I'm like, okay, he throws that ball like that in the game. Christian Kirk is looking for his helmet.
Yeah, he was going to
If he wakes up.
He was going to get macked. Big
I mean,
time.
there was a safety or a corner, whoever it was, that was coming across and let up. And in the NFL, they're not letting up. They're going to take your head off, and that's my question mark is we're going to see questionable throws. How many good throws versus questionable throws are we going to see? Is it going to be a dump down like we saw with Saquon Barkley with David Johnson? Is that the offense we're going to see? Because I don't see how they're going to really be an efficient offense with such a bad offensive line like you said. That's my issue with him.
I'm not even looking at Kyler Murray
No.
in my draft
Right.
at all.
His ADP is too high as well. What's his ADP? Is he in the 12th or is he in the 11th round now?
9th round.
9th round.
That's what I'm saying. So you're going to take Carson Wentz or Kyler Murray?
I would take Wentz.
There you go. I mean,
So that's my point. Do I think that? And this is what we're talking about. When you see ADP, ADP is what everybody in mock drafts are thinking. To me, I have no problem with him finishing potentially as a top 12 quarterback overall if all the stars align. However, I'm not drafting him as a top 12 quarterback. He to me he's a rookie. We have no idea what we're going to see out of him. We have no idea what we're going to see out of that offense. There's too many question marks to draft him as a top 13 quarterback.
I agree 100%.
Would it be great to get him maybe like a Patrick Mahomes where you drafted him as like 13th, 14th round and he ends up being a top 12 quarterback? Great. But don't draft
I don't
Kyler
see that
Murray
happening.
in that.
I just don't either.
I don't
Right.
see that happening. I'm sorry.
There's a lot more offensive talent and a better offensive line there in Kansas City that Patrick Mahomes kind of rolled into. Plus, he was a sophomore in theory.
And I'm not comparing him to Lamar Jackson, but I think he can be relevant in certain games like Lamar was.
You know
Correct.
who I think of when I think of Kyler Murray, and I'm not just saying this, RG3. He's little. If he takes a hit, how's he going to withstand that? RG3, if somebody even looked at him wrong, his ankle was busted.
It's true. I will say, though, watching some of Kyler Murray's film, because I was like, man, what are we going to see? The offensive line in Oklahoma is probably better than what the offensive line that he's walking to in Arizona. He was smart, and he fell. When he saw the pressure coming, if he saw it coming.
Well, he's a baseball player. He can slide.
Right. So I don't know.
Well, he's got a little bit of that Russell Wilson in him where he's going to play on the run.
Right.
Which, if he can do it as well as Russell's done, he's going to be a great player.
Well, he's
but
going to have
He's
to.
got to establish it first.
Right.
I mean,
and this year, it's a young wide receivers around him, too.
I know.
Fitz is there, but
But
all
Kirk
these
is the
other guys-
veteran of this group in
Right.
theory of the guys for the future.
I like what you said with the David Johnson-Saquon comparison. 'Cause
Right.
I think we're going to see a lot of
And that might
David
be,
Johnson catching.
and that's where Russell Wilson really. I mean, he succeeded with a crappy offensive line for a lot of years. It was a lot of checkdowns and a lot of short throws and a lot of running. And I think that's where Kyler Murray is going to make up his points is rushing and zone reads and faking out the quarterback or the defense with handoffs, zone reads with David Johnson or checkdowns. I think David Johnson's going to be the biggest beneficiary in this whole
Absolutely.
offense.
I think so, too.
Christian Kirk probably a second, a solid second. Larry Fitzgerald third. But I just think offensively, if I'm taking any of the guys at their current ADP, I will take David Johnson and feel great about what I'm getting into.
Absolutely.
But
I agree.
all right, who is your too low?
My too low, and this one, I mean, I don't know your guys' feel in the room yet, is Josh
I'm
Allen.
going to tell him you're wrong, but go ahead.
Oh, you're on
No,
the
I'm
mic.
just
there?
kidding.
Okay.
I like Josh Allen.
I do
like
too.
Josh
And
Allen,
actually,
too.
if you look at his stats are not great. Threw for 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions.
The running, though.
We don't like that. Yes, the running aspect of it.
But did you see him hurdle that guy?
yes.
Minnesota.
So, and I also like what they brought in. John Brown's there now.
Yep.
Over
the top.
Andre Davis and Cole Beasley, on top of Zay Jones and Robert Foster, I mean. These guys alone, with the fact that Allen's going to take another step this year, sophomore year, I think he'll pass a little bit more, run a little bit less. I don't want to compare him to Cam Newton, but we've seen when Cam Newton can run, score touchdowns, and throw the ball, not a ton, and can be a top quarterback.
Yeah, Josh Allen surprised me last year with his athleticism and the way he was running. I didn't expect that.
I didn't either.
Well, I mean,
We've seen the arm.
I would say we saw him at the combine. We saw the arm and was in amaze of it was a flick of the wrist and it was 70 yards down the field.
Effortless.
That's the thing I think different between him and Cam. I think him and Cam overall, like body structure wise, big body guy, not quick but physical enough that they can basically maul over somebody if they have to gain another yard or two. He's not going to juke anybody out of their shoes. He's not one of those athletic.
hurdle him.
Right.
Yep.
I just think that he's going to be dangerous enough with his feet, but he's going to excel with his arm. And I think that's what he's just got to get his accuracy down. If he can get his accuracy down, or if they can just say go routes all day, fine.
Well, that's what you pointed. They added some weapons for him.
Right, and like I said, don't reach for Josh Allen.
No.
If he falls to you, he's great. He's going to be a questionable quarterback in certain matchups.
What's his
really,
ADP right now?
He's 17th overall in the 11th round.
Okay. So to me, I would take Josh Allen in the 11th round and feel good about him over Carson Wentz in the 9th round.
Ooh.
No.
Just saying.
I
look,
like to pair them
I'll-
together, but
Yeah, I'm weary on
Best
the
friends.
Carson Wentz injury, but I would take Wentz over with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Just,
that's
I
fine.
don't know.
listen, the 33 touchdowns. I know, and he only had 7 picks that year.
Well, plus, Wentz is familiar with this offense. Like, this is his 3rd year, whereas Josh Allen's his 2nd year. They added new weapons. They're going to take time to gel, and I just like the overall efficiency of
Wentz's
Eagles.
floor, I think, is higher
Right.
than Allen's floor because Allen
Yeah.
could be. I mean, literally, the train
Could be the bus.
right off the train come right off the tracks here.
It could,
so.
yeah.
Could
But
be.
but like you said, I like
His
to take
upside,
risk on my
yeah, his
quarterback,
upside.
so.
Yeah, and if you're a double-digit guy who likes to stream quarterbacks, Josh Allen's a good streamable guy.
Oh yeah, I would. I liked your point of I would have no problem pairing Wentz and Allen for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But probably won't do that. Anyways, so
Not today.
not today. Now for me, too low is Dak Prescott.
Homer.
Whoa. Before I get too far into it, I looked it over and I just looked at all the quarterbacks because to me, when we look at all the quarterbacks, there's really nobody that's like, oh my gosh, they're being drafted in the 5th round. I think they should be a 12th round quarterback or whatever. It's not like that where you can do that for running backs and wide receivers where
Right.
there's a big gap of where people are really hyped on these guys. So I looked at it, too low for me. He's currently being drafted as a quarterback 19. He's going in the 13th round. I mean, that's literally kickers and defenses area.
Right.
You're right. I would take Dak before that.
Right.
I'll
so
give you that.
to me, I think that I would have, if I'm going to draft Dak, I don't have a problem drafting him. The highest I'm drafting him is probably the 11th round. I think that's a comfortable spot for him, for me at least. Would I take him at the 10th round at the end, like on a circle back, like I know I'm at the end of the 10th round and I can get him? I don't. That to me is not really taking him in the 10th round, because you're still taking him in theory at the end of the round. So to me, 11th round, I think he can go 2 rounds earlier, and I just think that he, like Blackburn had said, he has not finished lower than quarterback 10. Quarterback 6 his first year as his rookie year, but I think that was kind of like
Zeke. Well, that was Zeke had a lot to do
I
with
would say the offense was running on all cylinders. Nobody knew what to do with Zeke or with Dak. I think they just took the NFL by storm. The following year, with Zeke in and out, question marks, and a lot of distractions, he still finishes as the quarterback 10. That's the biggest thing. And then last year, with Zeke, full year, quarterback 10. Without, mind you, a true wide receiver 1 until Amari Cooper showed up. And I looked, before Amari showed up, he was the quarterback 16. When Amari showed up, he finished the year as like the quarterback 5 or 6. So to balance it out, he finished as the quarterback 10 last year.
Right.
And Amari's coming back. Zeke's going to be back. The offensive line's going to be healthy.
They
That's the
brought in
big
Randall
thing.
Cobb. A lot of people's not valuing that. I like that a lot.
That's
a
my
good
thing.
move.
I just think they've added enough to help him.
And Jason Witten's back.
Right.
Yep.
That's the other thing. So I just think that he's set up for success, like we talked about some of these other guys set up for success. And unless there's some sort of injury to one of these key players or a suspension to one of these key players, because we all know Dallas likes to get suspended at some point in their season.
Especially the defense.
Right. As long as nobody key gets injured or suspended, and I think everybody plays 16 games, I just don't see how he can finish low at the lowest. He finishes as a top 10 quarterback. I mean, he's proved it regardless with a bad offensive line, without Zeke, without a true wide receiver 1. I mean, he's proven that to me at least. Now, I'm not saying that I'm drafting him as a top 10 quarterback. I'm drafting him somewhere comfortably around that quarterback 14, 15 off the board, which is right around that 11th round.
Yep.
So that's fine. And that's, to me, taking him in the 11th, 12th round, or even in the 13th round at this point, and he finishes the top 10, that's a win for quarterback purposes.
Absolutely.
So
He's the prototypical guy I like to draft when I go back-to-back in the 11th or the 10th and 11th round.
I mean, theory, you
Because
could take
his-
Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott
Well,
the
there you go. Well-
way the ADP's rolling right now.
Roll that
His
NFC
floor
East.
is nice.
There you
and
go.
His floor is comfortable, especially if you're going to go heavy running back and wide receiver early.
Right.
I like his floor. I just don't think his ceiling is that high.
No.
Which is fine, and that's not what we're arguing here. Or the point is, and I can't believe I'm buying into more and more Dak, but I am, at least for fantasy purposes.
Well, if Amari Cooper wasn't there, I wouldn't be talking about him at all.
Right. That's
Amari
to me,
Cooper reshaped that whole offense.
he made Dak better than what he could have been without him, if that makes sense. I know that sounds cliche, but
He makes him more interesting. Let's put it that way. But listen, let's be honest. Dak's going to be a 35 to 4,000 yard passer. He's going to roughly 25 touchdowns, and
Yep.
then he might run a couple in. That's what you're looking at. I mean, you're not looking at 30 plus touchdowns passing. You're not looking at 5,000 yards throwing.
no.
So Amari Cooper does make him better. But you know what the thing is they don't score a lot of points to begin with. I think
No.
they were 21st in the league or something. in
It's
points scored.
it's time management. It's
and
one
their
or two.
defe-
It's
and their
one
defense
drive.
is good enough to keep people from scoring. That they don't
Finally,
need
yes.
to put up that many
Right.
points.
Right.
So it's the whole Dallas team in general is what
I mean,
why Dak is.
I
What
mean,
he
most
is.
games you think about it, Dallas scores maybe 28 points a game.
I think somewhere in the high 20s.
Right. So that's 4 touchdowns a game.
Yeah.
Zeke's going to probably go 1 or 2 at least. Amari's going to get 1 at least, maybe 2. So that's 4 right there. And if Zeke or Dak or Amari's catching them, which Amari's probably going to catch them obviously, but if Zeke's catching one, I mean that's
Screen-
double.
He usually gets some screen.
That's a double down.
yeah.
If Zeke gets more involved, I think that'll bump
Open
him
up
up
the passing
more.
game. Yes.
Yeah.
I like that too.
And I like Witten being back. That to me is a better because I just hated not seeing a comfortable tight end in that offense running through. Blake Jarwin was okay, but he wasn't Jason Witten. Jason Witten, you could rely on those short yardage. He's going to go
Yeah.
sit right at the line.
He's going to get you that 3 yard. That
3 yard touchdown.
in. There it is.
3 yard touchdown right there. Doesn't matter.
When he
but-
catches the ball, he'll run all he can. He's only going to get you 2 more.
Right.
I wonder if Randall Cobb's going to eat up some of those short yardage.
I think
too.
so. I think so.
I think so.
Because as we've seen last year, Beasley did a lot,
Right.
in that area right there. And I
Right.
think Cobb will just continue to do that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see is what Michael Gallup, the step that he takes in this offense. Can he be a relevant wide receiver in this offense? Because he could be I think he is a comfortable wide receiver 3 fantasy wise. So he's outside the top 25. I think his ceiling is 24, 25 max, but I think comfortably 34, 35ish. I think is a good spot for him for what it depends on whoever the wide receiver 3 is, whether that's Cobb or Gallup, and that I should say 2 an offense, depending on how much Zeke gets involved. So
I'll tell you what though, if Gallup takes that step and they let him air it out, Dak to him, you watch Amari Cooper, that 2,000 yards could look interesting.
Yeah.
Because now Gallup is a threat on the outside and a downfield threat, which I don't really feel it's in Dak's game right now.
no,
But it doesn't mean it's not there.
no. I mean, Amari's game. What made Dak successful for Amari was the yards after the catch. That's the
Right,
big thing for
exactly.
Amari. It was a lot of 5 yards, 10 yards, and then catch the ball and shed a defender, and he's gone for a touchdown for 80 yards. Dak really isn't a home run throwing quarterback.
Right.
It's a yard after the catch is what makes his yards skyrocket. But all right, what's your too low for this?
My too low is Captain Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't say Homer because he's not a Homer.
I said nothing.
Homer.
I said nothing.
I
No!
heard it in your voice. Anyway,
Did you catch that under?
his ADP right now is 12th round, 12th pick, QB 21. That's way too low for Captain Kirk, in my opinion.
Kirk Cousins is what now?
Yeah.
12-12, QB 21.
Lord.
He's just getting mixed in with all the guys. They're all kind of
He finished last year as QB 13. He had 2 different offensive coordinators. This year they brought in Gary Kubiak to be like a offensive guru. He's the offensive coordinator.
Right.
But since he became a full-time starter in 2015, he has never thrown under for 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns in any season. And that was with a bunch of no-name receivers in Washington. I think this year is going to be a huge bounce-back year for Kirk Cousins, and we're going to see what we all thought we were going to see last year. I mean, that offense they have in Minnesota is loaded.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like I don't want to put it in the same group as like the LA Rams loaded across the board, but I mean you think about receiving threats. They got 2 top 10 wide receivers.
Diggs Thielen.
Diggs Thielen. They've got Dalvin Cook, who's a top 10 running back.
Yes.
If he stays healthy. Then you got Kyle Rudolph brought back in,
and Irv Smith.
and they got a really good offensive line that they've readjusted.
And their defense is still great, which will keep them in games.
And the offense, I think, is finally going to get back to what they expected them to be last year, and what we saw towards the end of the fantasy year.
yes, utilizing the tight end, running the ball, and then that helps set up your outside guys.
Well, that's why they went out and got Irv Smith. I think they realized that Kyle Rudolph wasn't the athletic over-the-top tight end like they wanted, so now they got a route-running tight end,
Right.
and they can use Kyle Rudolph in the blocking game. And he can still catch, though.
Right. I think that this is kind of like how I don't want to put it in the same group, but I mean how the
Patriots?
Patriots, the kind of concept where they put a solid blocking tight end who can be reliable catching the ball for short yardage, or you got you have a Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. Then now you've got, to me, I got Irv Smith can be that hybrid guy that can
Could be the Hernandez guy.
right. Or I mean he's OJ Howard.
Basically.
I mean it's same offense that he came out of, same style. I mean I just feel like athletically he's the same style, and we all think OJ Howard is a top 10 tight end.
I'm just
So,
saying I would love to get Kirk Cousins at the 12-12 spot.
yes,
Yep.
please.
Absolutely.
Take 2
I'll be
scoops of that,
surprised
sir.
if his name alone doesn't jump him up in most leagues, most drafts.
Well, like right now, the guys we talked about, they're going before Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, all those
Dak's
guys.
going at 13-10.
Oh, 13. So, I thought
So
you
he's
said
going,
12.
but I'm just still, they're going
Oh, yeah.
right around the same spot, and I would take both of them at their current ADPs and be happy. Not even a streamable.
I would take Kirk Cousins at the 8th round and 9th round and be like where Wentz is going and be happy that I got him right there.
I think Kirk Cousins, to me, his ceiling ADP wise for me is like 9th, 10th round. So I have no problem taking him in the 9th or 10th round because I think you're getting a top 10 quarterback easily. And the offense that we said, I mean, the offense is going to be better. We saw once they switched out DeFilippo, the tight end whisperer, out and brought in an actual true offensive coordinator. And I think Kubiak being they called him
Offensive consultant.
yeah, that, which essentially means he's running the offense.
Basically, yeah.
So
They just don't want to pay him offensive coordinator money.
True. I mean, he left Denver to do that.
Can't argue.
So it is what it is. I agree with you. I think Kirk Cousins is being undervalued, and I think that there's just so many question marks around other teams that quarterbacks that are being drafted right around then. So, but that's just me.
No, I couldn't agree anymore. I mean, he's got the potential to do it. It's just whether or not it's health.
Right.
That's it. That's his. But that's with everyone is health. So
There you go. Sorry, I just saw the
Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne
thing.
Haskins thing. That's good.
On a side note, speaking of Washington, I've decided that I want Case Keenum to start the season.
Really?
I do. I like Dwayne Haskins. I think he's got a big arm, but I'd rather see Case go in there for the first 6 games And if they're winning record 4-2-ish, keep them in there. If they're slumping or trending downward, throw Dwayne in.
Okay. So you don't want to throw Dwayne.
I
to
just
the
don't want
wolves
to
right
throw
away.
Dwayne in it because I'm seeing conflicting reports. Some people are like, yeah, he's doing great. He's going to be the guy. And other guys are like, well, he needs a little work. He needs to improve on this. I would just feel comfortable with Case being in there, somebody that has been around for a while.
His knock on college, at least for me, was when he sees pressure, he kind of gets scattered. And when he gets scattered, the ball goes all over the place.
Well, and he can't run either. Like,
Right.
True.
So, and if the line right now, if they're not sold on it, and he's the long-term play anyways, I couldn't agree anymore. I'd play Keenum right now, too.
As long as you can.
Now, around draft time, I was all for Haskins being the guy. Like,
I mean, you still like him as the
I do,
future,
Yeah.
but
I do, but
you don't want to ruin him year one.
Yeah, I don't want to just throw
The
him to the
confidence
wolves
level
and then
right
throw it
down.
to the wolves and have it be done with.
Right. They did that too. They've done that. I mean, the NFL in general has done that to a lot of quarterbacks
And
that had a lot of hyped up potential quarterbacks that ended up just falling out because they got thrown right to the wolves and they just couldn't handle it. So, all right. Before we get into the show, I just want we did do our listener league entries. We still are getting more and more, but we wanted to at least announce 2 tonight on the show this week, so that way people kind of be excited that they got announced and hear their name on the show and whatnot. So.
So there's 8 total spots
I believe there are 9.
9.
So
left after.
right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna announce 2 this week, 2 next week, and we'll just kind of announce a couple every show until it's before the end of the month of July, because August 1st is gonna be the day of the draft. So, anyways, so with looking with that, the first one we have, let me put in here. It is Riley Wilson is gonna be the first person that got picked. So.
Welcome to last place. Just kidding.
Welcome to best case scenario, your second place. Anyway, so no,
we welcome you in.
yes, we'll welcome in. You'll be getting an email from us and get the link to the draft on Sleeper, which that's through the platform we're going to be on again this year. So we'll send you that, and that way you can join up, and that way you can join in the chat group and everything else and talk
It
trash.
was an active chat last year.
It was
very active.
There was a lot of trash talking. I mean, it was professional, but it was fun.
Yeah, it's all good fun.
Nothing to take personal. And then the second one is Andrew, and I don't want to butcher your last name, so I'm just going to say it at the best case scenario, and if I did, I'm sorry. It is Horness,
I think you did good.
because, I mean, it's Horness. Is that right?
Hornets. Yeah.
Horness.
Yeah.
Okay. So Horness. Andrew Horness.
The way you said it, I thought I seen in my head like the little ball at the bottom of the screen. Hornets.
Hornet's Nest. No, so Andrew Horness is the next person that got into the listener league. So, like I said, welcome you guys into the league. Like I said, we'll send out emails to you guys, and that way you guys can get the link and join up. And you can relax now until draft day. You're in the fun draft. So
Yeah.
prize pack's going to be great again this year. We give you guys prizes, and I think the biggest feat is seeing if you can take down the host team. Not happened yet, so the stakes are high for people.
Oh yeah.
If you can't run with the big dogs, get off the porch. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was get out the yard.
Porch, yard, house, whatever. You got to get out of somewhere.
You got to get out of somewhere.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Anyways, so no, we appreciate you guys. Like I said, keep sending them in. We're cutting off. July 1st is the cutoff.
It's stay on the porch
Stay on the porch. There you go.
because you're running.
Right.
You're not running on the porch. That don't make sense.
No, I got you. I know what you're.
Anywho,
I'm not
Got it.
going. I'm totally gone.
He's already clocked out. So anyways, so July 1st is the last day to sign up. So keep sending those. We had a large amount of people submitted them. I mean, we had like, I think last I looked, before recording, we were up in like the 80 or 90 entries. So it's a lot of people for fantasy league,
Yeah.
which is great because last year we had, I think we had 40 or 50 people in the first year. We had like maybe 20. So I mean, it's steadily grown, and we kind of put a cool twist on it this year, filling out the entry form and kind of seeing the responses of the people, which we'll probably go over maybe next week, the entry forms, and we won't say who said what, but just kind of the responses that we got back, which is pretty cool. One guy actually said, "Never heard of you before, just subscribed, love the show." So,
and we
Hey, we'll take
appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
so we're not saying that you have to be had listened to us since the beginning. We're just saying,
Yeah, there's no quiz.
no, I mean, there might be at the end of the year, but anyways, that's
Listen,
how you get your
I-
prize pack if you win.
Problem
No,
is,
take 'em.
I'll fail our own quiz.
There's no quiz, but we're gonna be taking people to school.
Right.
So
Anyways, did you see that? That was
Yeah.
trash talk. I appreciate that.
they're gonna learn.
You're gonna learn today. Message. Anyways, so that's all we got for today. We appreciate you guys joining us on today's show. whether it's on the podcast, YouTube, or for the local Dayton viewers on DATV. Make sure if you're on podcast side or YouTube side, hit the subscribe button. We saw a large number of subscribers join into the YouTube channel. So if you like watching on the go, or if you got time to sit and watch on your laptop or whatever, I mean, you can see us on those pretty faces.
Yeah.
So this is my good side.
This doesn't happen overnight.
It does.
37 years to get this, okay?
Yes. So, but as well as, like I said,
Moisturizes.
I moisturize. But you can also check out the website, thehateful8ff.com, like we said, so you can get your link to Trophy Smack. You can check out, you can see all the different writers. You can see all of us, plus the articles as well, plus the apparel, which, like we said, we're going to be rolling out some new stuff this fall.
Yeah.
And then as well, if you're still needing draft help, averagejonation.com, $10 signed up. It's one-time fee. $10 carry you all the way up until kickoff of the NFL season. So if you have an early draft, late draft, doesn't matter in the year, you get covered. Your subscription lasts up until the kickoff for Game 1 of the NFL season. So
Can't beat that.
no.
Not at all.
And then you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at jpickle, TH8FF. You can follow Jay Blackburn. I just said at Jay. You can follow Blackburn at Jay Blackburn, TH8FF.
No, I am Jay Blackburn.
I got you. And then you can follow Trimboli at FTrim, TH8FF. You can follow the podcast handle at the Hateful8FF. So lots going on. We got some 4th of July coming up next week.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh,
Good
I thought
talk.
I thought there was,
Yeah. I was like, where
I
are
thought
we
there was
going?
gonna be. I thought there was gonna be a little bit more.
No, just going to be, yeah, boom. I like it. Boom.
Boom. Anyways, so all right, you guys got anything else?
Nope, thanks for listening. We appreciate it, as always.
No, I was going to say, for anyone who's not on our Twitter, doesn't follow us on Twitter or any of the social media accounts, all
You're
you got to
messing
do
up.
to enter into this
All right.
is go to our website, fill out the quick questionnaire,
Yeah.
and then just hit subscribe on our YouTube channel, and that's it, and you're in this league.
Yeah.
Right.
So for anyone who doesn't follow us that way, that's how you do it.
Yep. That's the way to go to get into this fun league that you will not win.
But if you're not following us on Twitter, you're messing up.
This
You
is
need to do
also
that.
true. You're already losing.
You're behind the game.
This is true.
You're behind the curve.
Yeah. Because you
Stay-
get all our
stay on the
riders
porch.
and us.
Right, let's get it together and let's get cracking, okay?
Stay on the porch.
Crack-a-lackin'.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.